tell you about my presentation, it's going to be about the SOFLA approach. SOFLA, SOFLA, the Synchronous Online Flipped Learning Approach by Dr. Helene Marshall. Let's have a look at today's agenda. So this presentation will describe how teachers can leverage the flipped learning approach in online courses, foster teaching presence through the synchronous online flipped learning approach that is referred to with the acronym SOFLA, apply the asynchronous and synchronous pedagogical, methodological elements that form the approach. So please, I just want you to be interactive today. It's not going to be a theoretical presentation. I want you to use the chat box to express yourselves, okay? Because I have a number of interactive tasks to you, my dear participants, today, all right? Okay, so before I start, I want you to write in the chat box what you know about the word synchronous learning and the expression or the chunk asynchronous learning. So please write in the chat box what you know about synchronous learning and the difference between synchronous learning and asynchronous learning, just the meaning of the word synchronous and asynchronous. Let me check the chat box. I hope that your answers keep coming in soon because we are limited in time, as you know. So let me follow your answers. I just want you to write the meaning of the word synchronous and the meaning of the word asynchronous, if ever you know it. Of course, I'll tell you about it. Don't worry. So I'm following the chat box in case you're answering. Synchronous learning. Yeah, let me read your answers. Okay, synchronous for online interactive, being online. I think it's a kind of online learning that takes place instantly. Okay, learning at your time and place at the scheduled time. All right, this is synchronous, of course. It takes place in real time. Okay, this is synchronous, of course. All right. Miss Iman says, meaning learning and teaching happening at the same time. This is synchronous, of course. All right, any more answers? Thank you so much for your interaction. And yeah, synchronous means at the same time, and adding a prefix refers to the opposite. Right, thank you, Mr. Ham. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, I hope that my presentation doesn't freeze. Just a second. All right, yes. All right, yeah. So can you see my screen very well now? Just assure me everything is okay. I guess you can see it,
yes,
right?
Yes, everything is clear.
Thank Allah. Okay, so what is the synchronous online flipped learning approach? What is SOFLA in the first place? Actually, it's an innovative approach that allows teachers to foster, to sustain, to support teaching presence in online settings. So there is a teaching element, of course, but there is some kind of, innovation, creation, and we are going to be exposed to after a while during my presentation. So according to Dr. Helene Marshall, by applying flipped learning in online instruction, teachers can maintain their presence in robust, strong and visible ways, and help students remain engaged and motivated while learning online. Of course, all teachers and teacher educators know that engagement and motivation is very important and are really important elements and factors in the teaching learning process, because our job as teachers is to get our students involved, to get them engaged, interested, motivated. That's how they learn, of course. Some more information about what SOFLA is. It's actually the synchronous online flipped learning approach, and it's a distance learning model. It's distance because it's online, so you are not close to your students. You are not meeting face-to-face or on-site. you know? So yeah, the synchronous online flipped learning approach is a distance learning model that closely replicates, it does the same work as actual classroom teaching and includes structured, interactive, multimodal activities, both asynchronous and synchronous. So here in SOFLA, a model for delivering online courses, you have two patterns, two ways of learning. We have the synchronous part where you, the teacher and students are there at the same time, and asynchronous part, which happens out of class. So there is a stage or a step or certain steps in SOFLA model or SOFLA approach that where you get your students to do some work, some tasks before class or after class. So this happens asynchronously. You are not there at the same time with them. Okay. And let me tell you about the creator of the project or the creator of the approach. She's called Dr. Helene Marshall, and she is the director of language education at LIU University Hudson campus. Let me tell you more about this. Are you following me very well? We have lots of interactive tasks for you. The second interactive task here, I'd like to ask you, what is flipped learning? I guess you're familiar with the concept itself, and it's one of the latest trends, of course. So please write in the chat box a word, a phrase, a chunk, or even a sentence that comes to your mind when you learn about or even read the word or the chunk flipped learning. What is flipped learning? Write in the chat box. I need active participants today. Let me follow your answers. I hope that, your answers keep coming, and yeah. Students research a topic before discussing it in the classroom. Okay. Autonomous learning, good answer. Ms. Esma says a task students should do at home, then back in class discussions are held. Very good. Wonderful answers here. Mixing of, I can complete the sentence. Okay, so student-centered, Dina says. Manar says students sharing in the learning process, wonderful. Reham says the students have a big party of the learning process, wonderful. I like that word, big party. Yes, it's a big party. It's a
Marwa,
teaching.
I'm sorry for the interruption, but I think you can make it in the presentation mode. I think it's better.
Yes, all right. Okay.
I'm sorry. Thank
Don't
you.
worry, don't worry. Just sometimes it freezes, so I skip it and yeah, now
No
better, right?
problem.
Now
Yeah.
better. Okay, so wonderful answers, my great participants, great active participants today. Let me tell you about the definition we have of flipped learning. So the Academy of Arts and Sciences defines flipped learning as a model which inverts the traditional classroom by introducing course concepts before class. So part of the class comes before class. You get your students to get exposed to or well acquainted with some some of the course concepts. This happens before class, okay? And what does it do to educators? It allows educators to use class time to guide each student through active, practical, innovative applications of the course principles. So here we are going, when we are going to apply the SOFLA approach, we will do something. We will get part of the course like in a flipped mode. So you flip a part of the course you are delivering. Okay, you give them some pre-work, something to do before. Yeah.
Hello. Could you
Hi.
please make a slideshow? في عندك حاجة اسمها عرض الشرائح؟
Of course, it's on a slideshow mode, والله.
No, it doesn't appear like that.
It doesn't show. How come?
So can you reshare?
Of course. Just a second.
Okay.
All right. Just a second.
Okay.
I hope that works. Just a second. New share. Yes. Yeah, maybe this one. Share. And slideshow. Now, is it clear?
Okay. Guys, can you see the screen well? Please write in the chat box. Is it clear for you?
I hope so.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
Okay, now, so the Academy of Arts and Sciences defines flipped learning as a model which inverts the traditional classroom by introducing course concepts before class, allowing educators to use class time to guide each student through active, practical, innovative applications of the course principles. I was just trying to tell you that part of the course is happening out of class, okay? In order to utilize the time of the session itself, the online or the synchronous session, trying to level up to higher levels or skills in Bloom's taxonomy, like applying certain concepts that they have understood in the pre-work. And during the session, they are going to work more on it, apply it, evaluate, create, analyze higher order thinking skills. This is the time that we are going to utilize during the synchronous meeting. And this is another part of the SOFLA approach, okay? Yeah, what results from this reorganization of learning is a dynamic environment. It's a lot of interaction, it's active, okay? It's a fertile space where your students participate actively, in which students use skills that are in the upper range of the revised Bloom's taxonomy, like application, analysis, evaluation, and creation, to engage in activities that allow them to further explore the concept they learned outside of class. So you just you sustain, you as a teacher, an educator, or a trainer, or someone who is delivering, an online course according to the SOFLA approach. You have to concentrate on that. You utilize the time that happens synchronously to sustain or support or foster or dive deeply into the concepts and take your students into, practicing the higher order thinking skills. Okay, not just merely understanding certain content or remembering it, memorizing it. Okay, so now I have one more interactive task for you. Let me ask you guys, what are the pillars of flipped learning? What are the pillars of flipped learning? So I'll make it easier for you not to consume lots of time, because we are, a lot of time, we are limited in time. So if we say that the pillars of flipped learning are F, L, I, and P, flip. These are the 4 pillars. Your task is, please tell me, what does F, yeah.
I'm sorry, Marwa.
Yes.
But some people said that no slides are shown and they cannot see the slides well. And I can see only it's appear in front of me. What is flipped learning? This is a slide that you are shown.
Slide number 6.
Yes, of course. That's it. What are the pillars of flipped learning? That's it. Yeah.
Number 6, slide number 6.
I don't know the number, but it's that's one. That's it. What are the pillars of flipped learning?
Only the two pictures of the teacher.
2 pictures of the teacher? I guess not. So okay, I can share the screen, by the way. Just a second.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
I have other alternatives. Okay, don't worry. Everything is going to be all right. Inshallah. Of course. Yeah. So you share, I'll share a screen this time, all right? Okay.
Okay.
And you have to assure me everything is going great. Now, can you see the screen? I hope so.
Samar, I think the same one.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Yes,
it didn't change. It didn't change.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, okay, like this.
Can you stop share and try to share?
I think so.
I stop share.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, great.
Yes.
Okay, stop share.
Again.
All right, don't worry. Okay. Now.
Yeah. Finally.
Great. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now, tell me, please, guys, what are the pillars of flipped learning? FLIP. What do these letters stand for? What are the 4 pillars of flipped learning? FLIP. Let me check the chat box if you know. Just try to think a little bit. What does F stand for? What does L stand for? What does the I stand for? What does the P stand for? Think a little bit. Just write in the chat box, okay? I know it's time consuming, but just you can, flexibility. Okay, for professional educator. Wonderful. Number 4, the fourth pillar is professional educator. Correct answer. Ms. Riham says flexible learning, possible, integrated. We will see. Flexibility, Ms. Rania says, right. Kindly, can you move back to the definition of the flipped learning? Okay. All right, Ms. Radwa. Okay. Mr. Ala says flexible environment, learning cultural, intentional content, professional educator. Perfect answer. Perfect. You get 10 out of 10, Mr. Ali. Thank you so much. That's it. Let me show you here. Guys, when I put it in the slideshow mode, yeah, it's freezes. I don't know why, but it's okay now. Okay, can you see this slide? Just assure me. Everything's okay? Can you see the 4 pillars?
Yes, it's clear.
Great. So here, the pillars of flipped learning are flexible environment, learning culture, intentional content, professional educator. Oh my God, we have 4 pillars here. So we need some clarification, definitions, elaboration on this. So here are the definitions, but they are not ordered, okay? So it's your turn to tell me about this. I told you at the very beginning of the presentation that you are going to participate at large. I need active participants, and you really are. Okay, greetings to all of you. Number A, let me call it definition A. So here is the definition A. We will read it, and you tell me what's definition A. Definition of which pillar is it? All right, so let's read definition A. The shift from teacher-centered to student-centered. The shift from teacher-centered to student-centered. Is it flexible environment or learning culture or intentional content or professional educator? Can you just tell me right in the chat box? Definition A. Can we match it with which number here? Which pillar? Let me check the chat box. Just write the letter. Oh, sorry, the number. Yeah. So A, 1. Let me see. Somebody says, Mr. Ahmed says it's 1. So the shift from teacher-centered to student-centered. 1, flexible environment. 2, somebody says 2. Mr. Ahmed Mahbub says 2. Wonderful, greetings, my dear colleague. Mr. Said says professional educator. Okay, we'll see. 1. Miss Iman, my dear sister, says, okay. Mr. Ahmed Said says 1. All right, guys. Okay, I'll not tell you the answer now. Okay, so your answer is not the correct one, actually. Mr. Ali Said says it's 2. It's the culture. Yes, Mr. Ali. Yes, correct answer. It's the culture itself, because it's the shift. We move from teacher-centered to student-centered. Okay, so this is like, a shift in the mindset itself. It's a new culture from teacher-centered to student-centered. All right, so yeah, definition A is a definition of 2 learning culture. So what about definition B? How and where students engage in learning. How and where, I said it 3 times, students engage in learning. Just tell me, please, what is it a definition of? 1. Mr. Khaili says 1. Mr. Ahmed says 1. Miss Iman says 3. Okay. 1 again. Environments. Wonderful. 3. Somebody says 3. Okay. All right. It's my pleasure to tell you that how and where students engage in learning refers to the flexible environment, okay? Where students engage, where? Is it inside the classroom? Is it online? Is it out of class? Okay, so B is a definition of number 1 of the first pillar of the flipped learning, referring to F letter, okay? Number C, definition C, how teachers must provide both ongoing and summative feedback. How teachers must provide Praise be to Allah. Okay. How teachers must provide both ongoing and summative feedback. To what pillar is it a definition of? Of which pillar is it a definition? Let me check the chat box. Professional educator. Excellent answer. Number 3, professional educator. Somebody says 4. Let's see. We will see. All right. So, yes, 4. Yeah, it's professional educator. 4. Yeah, excellent. Excellent participant. Excellent, perfect answer. Yeah. So, how teachers must provide both ongoing and summative feedback refers to professional educator. Wonderful. The last pillar here of flipped learning. What material to include outside of class? I mean, asynchronously and even synchronously. By the way, you have to decide what to move to out of class and what to move to in-class sessions. Yes, everybody says number 3, which is intentional content. Excellent answers, my dear participants. Active participants here. Yeah. What material to include outside of class? This refers to intentional content. Wonderful. All right. Okay, here are the answers. They are ordered. As you can see, the right answers here. Check your answers. Wonderful. Now we move to the SOFLA model itself because it's, you know, an 8 learning cycle, an 8-step learning cycle. Okay, we will learn about what the 8 steps are, and we need some elaboration in each step. We need to understand it fully or understand them fully if in case we need to, you know, apply the SOFLA model in some courses, some online courses that we think about delivering to trainees or participants. Okay, so the SOFLA model includes a series of 8 steps, each of which delineates or determines how learning occurs in either asynchronous and synchronous ways. So the 8 steps are going to tell us how to deliver this model in training. What part is going to be asynchronous and which part is going to be synchronous? Let's learn more about it. Another interactive task for you here. I told you from the very beginning that you are going to be interactive. Okay, so here are the 8 steps of SOFLA. We have pre-work, review and discovery. They are not ordered, by the way. Okay, they are not written in the correct order. I want you to just read them and tell me in the chat box what is the first step and what's the last step. Okay, just the first step of SOFLA, and you will predict, of course, you will predict, okay? If even you are not familiar with it, you don't know the steps before. So yeah, we have pre-work, we have preview and discovery, we have whole group application, we have breakouts, we have assignment and instructions, we have the share out step, we have the sign-in activity. 8 steps here. What's the first step? And what's the last one? Let me check the chat box. Yeah, my dear colleague says the first step is pre-work, and the last one is, I'll not say because I want you to participate. Yes, somebody says number 1 is the sign-in activity. Thank you anyway. Mr. Ahmed says number 1 is pre. Okay. Pre-workout and reflection. Excellent. Pre-work. Excellent. 8 reflection. Ms. Rania says pre-work. This is number 1, of course. Mr. Ahmed Mahbub says reflection is the last. Wonderful answers. Excellent. You predict very well. Okay, now, yeah. So number 1 is pre-work, of course. And the last one is reflection. What about the others? What's the correct or the proper organization or order here? Okay, here are the steps in the proper order, in the correct order. So we have number 1, the pre-work. Okay, and you can of course imagine that the pre-work is the part of the course that is going to be tackled outside of class, that will happen asynchronously. All right, the teacher will not be there. He will just assign the students some work to do, some videos to watch, or even to some reading passages to read and answer some questions on certain platforms. And then during the session, they are going to complete the other steps. Okay, so pre-work happens asynchronously. We will dive deeper into all these steps after a while. Let's just have a quick look at the steps. We have pre-work, Second step is sign-in activity. We will see. Whole group application, breakouts, and of course you are familiar with the feature of breakout rooms, okay, in online meetings, of course. The share out, preview and discovery, assignments and instructions, and reflection. Let's start. Step 1, pre-work. What is pre-work? Students complete a variety of activities that are low on Bloom's taxonomy before participating in synchronous class sessions, such as video lessons, TED Talks, or podcasts. Okay, so here in the pre-work step of SOFLA, the teacher will assign students some, a video to watch in a certain platform that he provides them with. Okay, he will tell them about which platform to watch the video on. It's going to be an interactive kind of interactive video. Okay, so what are the platforms that the teacher can use or can provide the students with in order to watch the video on and answer some questions? Okay, so here the applications such as PlayPosit or Edpuzzle. These are the names of the platforms that the students are going to work on. Okay, for instance, allow teachers to embed questions into self-created or pre-made videos and conduct formative assessment of student learning outside of class. So in this step of SOFLA, students are going to watch a video, an interactive kind of video on a certain website that can be either PlayPosit or Edpuzzle. Okay, these are two websites that can be used here at this step of SOFLA. They watch the video and answer the questions. What are the questions? They are embedded. They just pop up or pop out while they watch the video. Okay, all right, very good. The teacher then has access to student responses and can use them to determine the extent and nature of each student's understanding and level of mastery of the material. So the teacher later on can observe, can monitor how to know how they did in the pre-work. What's the score? What's the feedback? Did they understand the content of the video that he has put on the PlayPosit or Edpuzzle? Could they answer the questions that are built in the video itself? Okay. Students can complete vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation exercises, listen to selected film clips, and practice learning strategies such as selective listening, skimming and scanning, or even identifying words and sentence stress, as well as visual literacy by viewing stills or posters from a film. By the way, we have another form of pre-work. It's not only watching a video on PlayPosit or Edpuzzle. You will see. Okay. Another form of online interaction among students that combines authentic input and collaboration among students is shared online reading. Okay, so on a certain website that is called Perusal or Active Textbook, you will find that the teacher is putting or sharing an article, a reading passage, even an image, and he wants the students to, have a discussion that happens asynchronously before class. And of course, the content of the reading passage itself has to do with the language area that I'm presenting to class, that is embedded or implemented in the course I'm delivering, of course. So on the website Perusal, the teacher puts or shares the online reading, and students highlight. Have a look here. Students highlight sections of the text that strike them and leaves a comment or question. The other students can react, as in social media, with likes, replies, or other expressions of their views and feelings. This group activity thus becomes a conversation about the readings, and the teacher participates, guides, or responds, making the reading a social experience that includes all of the students and the teacher as well. Therefore, ergo, the flipped activities are structured, multimodal, and interactive. So in the pre-work, they either watch a video or they read an article on Perusal website, okay? And they answer questions. And this happens before class, okay? This is asynchronous work. Very good. Here are examples. This is the interface of the PlayPosit website where you can share a video like this. If you can see the screen very well, we have here an example of a video where they can watch the video, and they at certain point of the video, they will find the questions popping out, they answer them, and students go on to watch the rest of the video and so on. And this is the pre-work. Another example, this is the interface of the perusal website. Okay, and here is an example. Here is a text that, or a reading article, for example, that the teacher shares on the website, and students highlight the text and they have a discussion by it. Okay, and by the way, the teacher can even participate asynchronously at different times. He can comment, he can ask, he can help them, monitor them, and so on. Step 2, sign-in activity. What is sign-in activity and what is an example of it? I'll tell you, of course. Synchronous sessions may occur in Zoom. What am I telling you about synchronous sessions now? Because the second step is that we start the online session, the synchronous online session, where I, as a teacher, meet my students at the same time, live, okay, in real times. So here, at this stage of SOFLA, synchronous sessions start. And how does it start? It starts with an activity called sign-in, the sign-in activity. Okay, so synchronous online may occur in Zoom, Educast, or any other video conferencing application that allows for screen sharing and breakout rooms. You're familiar with this, screen sharing and breakout rooms. This warm-up activity, let me stress this, usually occurs on a collaborative whiteboard. So for this kind of step, I need the whiteboard feature on the video conferencing application that I'm using, whether it is Zoom, Educast, Teams, for example, or any other video conferencing application that I use to deliver my course. Okay, very good. So yeah, such as Zoom or in web-based programs such as Flipgrid. For example, if the pre-work assignment included or comprised a video lesson on the uses of the past tense, for example, the sign-in activity could ask students to write 1 or 2 sentences about something they did the day before. I'll show you, don't worry. Have a look here. This is an example from Dr. Helene's presentations, a whiteboard where she put here a sticky note writing to students, post something you did yesterday, sign your name. So they will write something using the sticky note and the feature of whiteboard during the session, and they write their name. So here, for example, somebody says, make dinner for family, Khadija. Walk to store, Kiyang. Watch TV, Maria. So let it be even walked to store, watched TV, drove to work, Hassan, did homework. This is also a good way of taking attendance, taking down attendance. Okay. All right. Guys, just assure me, is everything clear now? Am I audible and the presentation itself is visible? Just assure me, because every now and then I have to make sure everything is
Yes.
okay. Wonderful. Thank Allah. Okay, let's get going. Let's move on. Step 3, the whole group application. What's the whole group application? It's the step 3 of SOFLA approach. This step aims at engaging all students in a collaborative activity that solidifies, supports, sustains, enhances, stresses students' learning, and clarifies what they may have missed in the pre-work, or applies what they have learned from the asynchronous work. You know that they have watched the video and they have read some article and answered some question before class, okay? And they came into class to have a sign-in activity, and then they will find like an activity, an application of what they have learned in the video or in the reading passage that happened asynchronously, all right? So this is the step where I provide them with an activity, an exercise where they will apply what they learned or what they worked on in the out of class work, the pre-work, okay? So returning to the example of past tense, the whole group activity might involve students working together to create a chart of past tense examples from their sentences divided into regular and irregular verbs, for example, and depending upon their proficiency level, They can even go further to divide verbs into categories. They may divide the regular verbs by their three patterns of pronunciation. Okay, you know that regular verbs can be pronounced like sometimes we pronounce the suffix da or ta or id, like visited, right? Or played or kicked. Okay, so they can classify in this activity or step 3 of SOFLA. For example, this is just an example of an activity here. So the teacher, after setting up the group task, becomes an observer, guiding when needed. Okay, and the students complete the task together. You know that the teacher is all the time the monitor. He is monitoring them. He is the one who is mentoring their work and observing them and giving them a hand when needed. So what happens afterwards? Okay, hope that the presentation doesn't freeze. Okay, step 4, the breakouts, the breakout rooms. You know it, you're familiar with it, and you practice it. And if you are teachers online or you are teacher educators, you practice getting your trainees or students into breakout rooms, of course. So this is step 4. Let's learn more about it. Breakouts. Actually, this step provides a synchronous opportunity, okay, for the students to meet in small separate groups and work as a team. Okay, the students interact in their groups to complete tasks based on the teacher generated content, the pre-work. Again, the teacher will tell the students go into the breakout rooms to do blah blah blah. They either create something new, okay, or even share certain information together, answering some questions, having some activity and they work like in a group work to find the answers to this exercise that you're going to answer, for example, or even one of them may have prepared a lesson and begins by teaching the students, teaching the peers in the breakout rooms, and the teacher monitors, and sometimes the teacher can visit them in the rooms. Okay, by the way, there are lots of ways that you group your students into breakout rooms. So all of the groups can complete the same task, all the groups can do the same activity, the same work during into the breakout rooms, or you can make it like a jigsaw activity. If you are familiar with jigsaw, you assign this group to do blah blah, and this group is going to do so and so and so on, and after they get out of the breakout rooms, they share what they have together. Okay, another option for structuring the breakout activity is to introduce a peer instruction component in which some students have prepared a lesson on a specific area of knowledge or content. In this case, they teach each other their lesson, ask questions, and end with a brief quiz using built-in polling feature in Zoom or Educast Connect or even Teams. You're familiar with this, or an internet-based polling tool such as the website called Mentimeter or Poll Everywhere. These are websites you can utilize too. The teacher can then examine the results to see how their fellow students managed with peer instruction. Step 5, we are limited out of time. Okay. Step 5, share out. After they get into the breakout rooms, of course, they get out of the breakout rooms. So they have to share what they have created in the breakout rooms, okay? So following the group work, there is a share out in the main classroom where students present what they have worked on and learned about in their groups. FITI developed a useful instrument for this purpose that he terms share, help, ask, and comment. This is called the SHAC protocol. This is called the SHAC protocol. This is like a structure of interaction for students in the main room after they get out of the breakout rooms, how they are going to interact together, how they are going to share information, according to which model, according to the SHAC protocol, okay, which is share, they share something, they help one another, they ask each other questions, or they comment on what their peers have created in the breakout rooms. So by giving students this simple acronym, which is SHAC, which provides just enough structure, the teacher gives students a guide to peer feedback that is at once non-threatening and likely to elicit high participation in the process. SHAC can be used easily online, both asynchronously, such as for the share out step in Sofla, or and asynchronously in interactive spaces such as blogs, wikis, and discussion forums. If you remember that I told you in the pre-work stage of Sofla, where students are there on the perusal website trying to answer some questions after reading certain text or reading passage or article, they read, they highlight some text, and they have discussion by it. Okay, this happens asynchronously, of course. Okay, so they share, they comment, they ask one another, they help, and this is another way of interaction asynchronously according to the SHAC protocol also. I hope this is clear. So here is the SHAC protocol. Please don't forget it. Share, help, ask, and comment. What is it? It's like a structure for a basis for interaction between students, whether synchronously or asynchronously. I hope this is clear. We move on to step 6 of Sofla, the preview and the discovery. Okay, so in this step, we are going to preview the pre-work for next session. Okay, I'm going as a teacher, I'm going to get my students to discover what is the coming pre-work is going to be about. What is it? Which video, which part of reading passages are they going to do or work on? So here, the teacher prepares material that will lead them to explore what's coming next, spark their curiosity. I want them to be curious to know what is the coming pre-work, okay, and identify gaps in understanding. To accomplish this goal, the teacher can pre-teach terms and concepts, activate students' prior knowledge, and build a new schemata. Importantly, the teacher's task here is to introduce but not teach the material, because direct instruction occurs in the pre-work for the next lesson in the cycle. Okay, I'll clarify this a bit. I hope I'm not running out of time.
Marwa?
Yes.
Just
yes.
a reminder, yes, 2 minutes left. That's just
Don't worry.
If you have to wrap it, yes,
of
wrap it,
course.
please. Okay.
Yes, don't worry. Okay. So in this step, the teacher just tell them more about the pre-work they are going to do. Okay. And gets them excited and interested to do it. Step 7, the assignment instructions. So whatever you assign students to do, just assign it at this step of Sofla, at this stage during the session, the synchronous session. Yeah, the homework, the assignment, whatever you assign, just assign it in this step of Sofla. Okay. Yes. The reflection, you tell them to reflect, to rethink about what happened, what resonated with them during the synchronous session, what they understood from the teacher or from their learning experience, from the pre-work, what they found challenging. Just to write a word, a phrase, a sentence. Okay, not just telling me that's a great work, the group, you're doing a good job, and so on. All right, here are the 8 steps of Sofla: pre-work, sign-in activity, whole group application, breakouts, share out, review and discovery, assignment instructions, reflection. I just had like a memory game for you. Please read the steps. I'll hide them and write in the chat box what are the 8 steps of Sofla. I'll hide them. That's the end of my presentation today. Thank you so much for following me and being with me.